Getting a little bit away from politics for a second, let me ask you a question. Were any of you disgusted when San Francisco 49er quarterback Colin Kaepernick refused to support our flag? Well, the good news is there are still athletes out there who put their love of family, faith, and country above everything else. Today, I have the honor of presenting NRA's Courage Under Fire Award to one of them. Please watch.
Those who know Adam LaRoche say he's a very principled man, devout Christian, gun rights supporter, big-time family guy.
LaRoche, right field!
There's going to be some noisy Minute Maid card.
It's gone! That's a grand slam for Adam LaRoche.
Trying to drop a hook on Utley. LaRoche to Kroll. Well done on both ends.
How many other jobs do you get to take your son to the field? You know, I remember growing up, getting to do it with my dad.
The first time I remember coming here, I was just kind of nervous.
Really an awesome situation because there's not very many areas in the workplace where you can bring your son out to your everyday job. So I try not to take that for granted.
Chicago White Sox first baseman Adam LaRoche surprised his team. White Sox star Adam LaRoche walking away from the team and millions of dollars after management requested that he bring his son around less.
This guy was set to make over $1 million a month in average salary this season, but he says it's not worth it if he can't be with his son.
54 yards.
You sure?
Yeah.
Can I test you? How many?
54. Or 24.
The 36-year-old has played 12 seasons for 7 different teams, and his son has been with him practically all the time.
He's been teaching me some things.
According to Fox Sports, LaRoche decided to retire because White Sox team president Ken Williams told him his son was no longer welcomed in the clubhouse.
When I'm working, I don't want somebody else's kid in there all the time.
But I really respect the fact that LaRoche said, you know what, actually, I want to focus on my family.
To me, it's stupid, it's petty, and it's absolutely positively ridiculous.
Bryce Harper tweeted this in support. Good for you, Roach. Nothing like father and son in the clubhouse. It's a family game. Hashtag family first.
I support him. I support Adam LaRoche. I do as well.
I will guess that in a couple of days, he will be back in the fold with the Chicago White Sox.
I haven't lost an ounce of sleep. I mean, I have zero regrets.
This is as close as we can get. Did you see him?
Okay, yes, sir.
Get him in there. Hey, don't shoot yet. Don't shoot. Let him get broadside.
Oh! Drop that big sucker. The deer you've been wanting.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming my friend and fellow NRA member, Adam LaRoche, and his son, Drake.
Thank you, guys. Man, what a cool video. I remember that hunt in the ground blind like it was yesterday. That was a pretty special moment. I hadn't seen that in a while. Guys, it's an honor to be up here, and I mean that. I can't think of a better audience that I would rather be speaking to than you guys. And I'm thinking about earlier when Wayne was talking about how baseball was less popular than the NRA. That made me really proud to be a part of both. I love both of them, but that for some reason sat really well with me. You know, it's an honor again to be a part of this. I feel very undeserving to be up here, especially with the lineup of speakers that they've had. But it is nice. From here on out, I'm going to be able to tell my kids and all my friends that President Trump opened up for me instead of the other way around. So I like the order that this went in. You know, I know I know a lot of people out there, and maybe a lot of you are thinking, man, what kind of idiot walks away from that kind of money? And I don't blame you. To be honest, I'm just a baseball player. I've never been accused of being real smart, but I can tell you one thing I've learned, one of the many things I've learned over my career is that it's never enough. You know, whether it's money, our possessions, our status, power, like at what point is it enough? And I don't know anybody that's ever reached a monetary goal and been totally satisfied with that. And I happen to be reading a book right now called The Measure of a Man. And there's a quote in there from a Robert Horton. And he says one of the greatest lessons he's learned in life is that if your heart and soul are devoted on money and searching for money, you're going to be equally disappointed whether you get it or whether you don't. And I don't know if I've ever heard a more true statement. And if you don't know who Robert Horton is, you need to go Google it, because I don't either, but he seems like a really smart guy. Maybe I should know who he is. I have no idea. You know, there's a few reasons, and I'm going to try to keep this brief. There's a few reasons why I decided to step away. Obviously, you guys just saw the main reason, was my son, which, by the way, I've also got a daughter, an 8th grader. Drake's a freshman this year. You know, one of the other reasons, and this is kind of from left field, and I don't know if you guys have heard anything about it, but I got involved in the sex trafficking fight. Excuse me, the counter sex trafficking fight. A couple years ago, and really long story short, I could sit and talk about this for a long time, but the gist of it is it really messed me up. When I got to peek into that world of how disgusting that is, and to see how another human being can treat other humans that way, was mind-blowing. And long story short, I got to go overseas and do a couple trips in some different countries. And when I came back, my partner and I, Blaine Boyer, I don't know if you guys remember Blaine. Blaine and I came up together in the Atlanta Braves organization. And Blaine's been my partner. We got some Braves fans out there. Yeah, that's been a few years ago. What was that? Oh, thank you, buddy. Blaine and I got into this sex trafficking fight a couple years ago, and we came back from these trips and just kind of made it our mission to fly around the U.S. and meet with as many organizations as we could. We got to meet with IJM out of D.C. The first group we went out with was the Exodus Road, a group called Deliver Fund, Operation Underground Road. Just some awesome organizations that over the last couple years we've got to work pretty closely with. And man, I didn't realize, and I don't know if you guys do either, the amount of this that goes on in our country. Like right here in our backyard is mind-blowing, especially where we're at right now in Atlanta. It's just a hub for this trafficking. I live 100 miles south of Kansas City. I had no idea that Kansas City had so much volume of sex trafficking coming through there. So anyway, I don't say all this to say everybody needs to get involved in the trafficking fight, or to make it sound like there's not any other major issues out there, because there is. This is just something I feel like God has called me into. Have been absolutely blessed to be a part of it. And if nothing else, just to bring awareness to you guys that it does go on right here. It's very difficult to see. I love that lately we're hearing more of President Trump and that office talk about it and kind of confirm that it is an issue. I believe it's the fastest growing criminal activity ahead of the drug and weapons trade or something like that. I mean, this is skyrocketing. And then on to the main reason why I left, which you guys saw, was because I was no longer allowed to spend time or as much time with my son. And I'm not going to sit up here and defend my son's behavior or integrity or anything like that. You know, this is a much bigger issue than just me or us in here. really bigger than all of us. And I would assume we have a ton of fathers in here. And I've got to speak on this since my retirement. What our role as fathers is. Like, to me, this is a countrywide epidemic of kids growing up in fatherless homes, right? How many dads we got? I'm assuming we got a lot of dads in here, right? I see, as a dad, I see my window closing rapidly of my chance to impact my kids, right? I've got a freshman and an 8th grader. I mean, it's gone by like that. And aside from the trafficking, that was another probably bigger reason why I decided to step away. Was it wasn't worth it to me. It wasn't worth missing, another year without my son by my side and even having my daughter there. And decided to move on. But where else are our kids going to learn what it looks like to be men and women with integrity and morals and values? I guarantee you, I can guarantee you they're not getting it in their schools. They're not getting it in society, because society screams that a man is someone who never backs down, who defies authority, who's more concerned about what he looks like, than what he believes in. And it's on us right now as fathers to impact our kids, and not just our kids, but any kids we're around. I prided myself for a long time to say that baseball is what I did. It's not who I was. And I'll still stick with that. I believe I was put here to do a lot more than just play baseball. I think Chris and Wayne were put here to do a lot more than just run and lead the NRA. I think Mr. Trump was put here to do a lot more than just be our president and lead our country. I believe this is the platform that God has given us to love others, to love Him, and ultimately spread the gospel. So if you ever wonder where a good place to start and kind of start looking into this, especially the responsibilities of a father, I would say start in the New Testament and look at the life of Jesus and how He treated others and how He lived His life. I think that would be an awesome place to start. Thank you guys very much for the time. It's an absolute pleasure. Anything to say? It was good.
All right, Adam and Drake, please stand here for one more minute. Now, Drake, your dad's already a patron member, so we wanted to present you with your own life membership. And Adam, I know you've already got a bunch of plaques on the wall, and you've got a gold glove and a silver slugger. So I decided to get you something other than a plaque this time. And we're presenting Drake and Adam with Daniel Defense ARs with Silencer Co. suppressors. Those ARs are just to make the media get upset.